Happy holidays. I'm David West, County Extension Coordinator for the Calhoun County Extension Office of the Alabama Cooperative Extension System of Alabama A&M and Auburn Universities. Welcome to our 2021 Holiday TV show. Today you'll be hearing from local extension educators, including Isaac Chappelle Jr., who will show us how to avoid a financial hangover. Bree Steele will talk to us about financial well-being and child development programs. Danny Carroll will talk to us about planting spring blooming bulbs. Jesse Rowan will show us the importance of buying local for the holidays. Vanessa Wood will show us how to make a layered black bean dip. Drew Metzler will talk to us about brush control during the winter season. Crystal McPherson will show us how to make an ornament from recycled goods. Hayes Jackson will discuss a variety of landscape and foundation plants to establish during winter. Stephen Fawn will show us how to cook turkey burgers. Kayla Sheely and Tammy Hall will talk to us about the Body Quest program, which teaches children about healthy eating habits. And Annette Felton will show us how to make a cranberry water drink to substitute for sugary drinks during the holidays. Now, on to our program.
Hello. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all who are in our listening audience today. My name is Isaac Chappelle Jr. I'm a Human Sciences Regional Extension Agent with the Alabama Extension System. I work in the area of Family Resource Management and Workforce Development. And I'm very happy to share with you today just a few tips. And I want to entitle these tips, How to Avoid a Financial Hangover. You know, Christmas is an exciting time of year, full of activities, full of fun. But for most, Christmas is also a time of added expense. And so, like I said earlier, the following are just some financial tips that will help you to try and help you avoid having a financial hangover or overspend during the Christmas holiday season. The first tip that I want to share with you is probably the most important one, and that's plan, plan, plan. You want to be prepared. I suggested people establish a budget, which simply means a list of your expenses for Christmas. It's not as simple as it sounds. One good thing you want to do is use maybe last year's Christmas as a starting point. But the reason why it's so important to have a plan or a budget, when it comes to Christmas, most people think the only expense is gifts, our gifts. But you want to also think about travel, office parties, decorations, entertainment, miscellaneous expenses. These things do come, and you want to make sure that you plan for them so they will not catch you unprepared and off guard. My second tip, always start early. Take advantage of sales. There's an old saying that rings true even in financial management: the early bird does get the worm. Oftentimes when you start early, sales, go to a store the day before or night before a sale. Oftentimes the retailers have already marked the merchandise down to the sale price, and you're able to get in and get advantage of that before the crowds come. Also, the hard to get merchandise. You don't realize how much people spend sometimes having to run to 3 or 4 different places because they waited too late to try and get that special gift or that one gift that everyone wants. So learn to take advantage of sales, go the night before, a day early, and take advantage of that. Can save you a lot of money. Also, limit the use of plastic. That's in every show every year, but I suggest that if you're going to use the charge cards, and I understand that some people have to use charge cards at Christmas, but try and work very hard to try to pay them off within a 30-day period. That saves you the cost of interest, because if you don't pay these things off within 30 days or at the most 90 days, what you will realize is that interest is added, and then the cost goes up. And if you take too long to pay off that gift, you will have paid twice as much for that gift than you thought that you did. Also, we're in the age of technology now. But if you're going to use the internet, make sure you only buy merchandise from a secured site. And as always, the known ones are always the best. Just remember there's a lot of fraud going on during the holiday season as well. So if you're going to use the internet, go online, make sure all purchases are purchased on a secured site. We buy a lot of big ticket items at Christmas. Make sure you purchase a warranty if you're going to buy big ticket items and give them as a gift for Christmas. Defective merchandise happens sometimes, things happen, and having that warranty is a way to perhaps save you some money and cut down on the expenses of having an expensive repair on an expensive item. Also, use the barter system. Oftentimes, we hear people say, I don't have any money for gifts. All gifts don't have to be monetary, and they will be appreciated just as much. If you have one skill or can do something well, and your friend or neighbor has another, why can't you say, I will babysit for you if you will cut my lawn for me? Gifts, those can be considered gifts as well as gifts that you buy at the store and can possibly save you money. You know, our foreparents used the barter system for a long time. It seemed to work well for them. Maybe we need to take a look at that as well. And then entertain at home during the holidays. Potluck parties, card parties, games. Oftentimes the entertainment and the hustle and bustle and always going during the Christmas season is more expensive than what we realize. So a possible way to save money, entertain at home. Potluck parties, once again, things that you and your friends enjoy doing at home, which will be a lot less expensive than the traditional things that we do. And last but not least, no impulse buying. Impulse buying will make you overspend during Christmas and any other time. There's an old saying that we use, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. What you want to do is let all of your spending be planned during the holiday season. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. Have a happy New Year.
Do you have financial issues or debt management issues? Are you looking for a job? Does your child have problems reading? Are you getting ready for retirement? If so, call me, Alabama. Hi, my name is Bree Steele. I am the Urban Regional Extension Agent for Calhoun County. I cover personal finance and family and child development. One of my main programs is my Financial Literacy and Progress program. This discusses credit, spending, savings plans, fraud and scams, plan buying, and debt management. My Prep program is promoting greatness for employment possibilities. This goes over your soft skills, job applications, resumes, interviews, and then dressing for the job and the interview. I also do the Successful Aging Initiative, which covers finances, preparing estates in retirement, scams and frauds, fall prevention, and healthy aging. My last program that I mainly cover is my Pcrep program, which is my Parent-Child Reading Enhancement Program. This helps you with phonics, vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency. If you need any of these programs, give me a call so I can help you get ready for life.
Hello, my name is Danny Carroll. I'm a Regional Extension Agent with Home Grounds Horticulture. And today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite Christmas gifts to give and to receive, and that is spring blooming bulbs. So right now in Alabama, usually October through December, that's the time to plant. And you see I've got a lot of different daffodils up here. That's because daffodils are a favorite of Alabama gardeners. They bloom well, they bloom repeatedly, they last for years, and you know our winter is perfect for them. A lot of people want to go with tulips, and I just like to remind them that a lot of times we have to consider those annuals because they may not get enough chill hours in our Alabama winters. So, you know, a couple of do's and don'ts. You're going to find these you know, in most of the stores right now ready to plant. So I recommend kind of going early. That way you get a big selection. When it comes to daffodils, you can see the difference in bulb sizes. There's big bulbs, small bulbs, and there's a whole lot of different colors of the flowers. Generally speaking, the bigger the bulb, the larger the flower. And so when we get ready to plant these in our yard, you know, a couple of things you need to remember. We have a lot of clay up here. And so they really don't like those soils that stay waterlogged because that can rot the bulbs. So if we're dealing with a heavy clay, we kind of need to amend that with some organic matter. And the same is true if you're on some of the sandy soils. That'll just help improve some of that water holding capacity. And if you're in doubt when you're preparing your area, if you're not really sure, you know, what your pH is and everything, you can go ahead and do a soil test. I have a lot of naturalized areas, and so those are perfect for these guys. Remember, they're going to like full sun, and they'll tolerate a little bit of shade in the morning. So we can also brought this along because I wanted to show you that we can also plant these in containers. We don't have to plant them in the yard. If you are going to use a container, be sure that that container is deep enough because these bulbs are generally planted 3 times the depth. So that's about 2 inches. So we're going to go about 6 inches down when we plant this bulb. And remember that the nose or the smaller size always goes up. So I like to do this for people for Christmas. Remember to get it down deep. I'm going to cover this with some more soil just to make sure it's plenty deep enough. And if you have any doubts about the depth, you'll always have specific recommendations on the bag that you choose. So we're getting those down good and deep. Having them deep enough and having them with plenty of sun really allows them to come back and flower better for you each year. And then we're going to mix this one up a little bit. I've planted a couple of different daffodils, and then we have some allium too. So you may think of allium as your onions or your garlic, and that's true. And if you know, garlic makes those really pretty flowers. And these are called purple sensations, so these are going to have really big, beautiful purple flowers that I think will go really well with these yellow daffodils. But anyway, if this is in a pot, so I will put some more soil on top of it. If we were planting in your yard or your garden, I would go ahead after planting and go ahead and mulch with about 2 to 3 inches of pine straw or something else. That'll help keep that moisture in, help keep some of the weeds out. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, so go ahead and go plant your bulbs.
Hello, my name is Jessie Rowan. I work with the Alabama Cooperative Extension System with Farm and Agribusiness Management. Today I wanted to talk to y'all about buying local and the impacts of buying local this holiday season. So whenever you choose to purchase from a small farmer, that money stays within that community. Studies show that 60% of every dollar spent with a small farmer stays within that community and gets recirculated. Those farms recirculate that money by in the form of the wages and benefits that they pay to their workers, 2, in the profits that are earned by the owners of those operations, 3, by the purchasing of goods and services from other small businesses in the area, and 4, contributing to local nonprofits. I'll start out by first mentioning a few of the local Christmas tree farms in the area. So Westwood Plantations is in Munford, Matt's Tree Farm is also in Munford, and Ridgewood Farms located in Sags. Christmas trees are one of the easiest ways to support small farmers in the area, and there's also an environmental impact. Those are just a little better for the environment. Another way to shop local this holiday season is to buy meat from local producers. A few in the neighboring counties are Dennis Farms, My Dad and Me Family Farms, Red Hill Farms, Ernest Roots Farm, and Rock House Farms. Happy holidays, and go support your local farmers.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Wood, and I am the FNEP educator for Calhoun County, Alabama. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about our program, Today's Mom, that we offer to all the expecting mothers at free of charge to you. At each class, which is 6 of those, we are going to talk a little bit about food preparation, nutritional wonders for your body, for you and your baby, and do group activities at high energy that's lots of fun. At the end of every class, we do a little food demonstration or a taste testing, depending on what we're covering for that day. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about our black bean layer dip. Today I'm going to walk you through the things that you're going to need to prepare this and to have all your things ready. Today I'm not going to be serving this to anybody, but I want you to keep in mind all of the things that you're going to need to make sure the food that you're serving is safe for everyone to eat. Be sure to wear gloves, face coverings, aprons, and to have hand sanitizer on hand for if it is needed. Today we're going to be using black beans. You want to make sure that these are rinsed and drained before preparing your food. We're going to be using light sour cream. We're going to be using green onions, tomatoes, and block cheese that I myself have already grated for you. I've also done a couple other steps to save a little bit of your valuable time today as you're watching in with me. The first thing that you're going to do is take your can of beans, you're going to rinse and drain them as previously mentioned. Then you're going to mash them with your low sodium taco seasoning. During pregnancy, it's very important to monitor the amount of sodium that you're taking in because not just you, but your baby as well has to take in those things. So you're going to mix those together, and I've already done that. Then you're going to take your beans and you're going to put them into your dish that you have. And you're just going to layer them in the bottom and just kind of even them out in your dish, as so. Once you've done that, you're going to take your light sour cream and you're just going to layer it right on top of those beans. And just smooth it around evenly, make sure it's all evenly coated. In no particular order, you're going to take the rest of your ingredients and you're just going to layer it on there like you would any other type of layered dip. I myself am going to start with the green onions. My kids don't particularly care for them, so I just hide them in there so they don't know they're there. Then I'm going to put on my tomatoes. And I'm just going to use this spoon and just kind of layer it on there evenly. Then I'm going to finish it grated cheese that we've grated up. When all of that's done, I have chosen to pair it with these Off the Beaten Path Veggie Crisp. It's a healthier choice for you and a healthier choice for your baby. And you can also use things such as carrots and celery to dip into your bean dip and enjoy. The beans are going to give you lots of great protein that you need for baby, and the cheese is a dairy, and then you've got light sour cream and low sodium, and that's all that you need for a delicious bean dip.
Hi, I'm Drew Metzler. I'm a Regional Forestry and Wildlife Agent for Alabama Cooperative Extension. I cover 11 counties in East Alabama, from Macon County up here to Calhoun County. And the holiday season is a great time to celebrate, but it's also a great time to work outdoors. The temperatures are cooler, it's a little bit more comfortable, and you're less likely to get fatigued when doing outdoor work. And a lot of things, or something that a lot of people overlook, is brush control during this time of year. Many people think that you can only control brush during the spring and summer when it's actively growing, but many unwanted brushy plants, such as this Chinese privet here, can be controlled during the winter time. And spraying Chinese privet during the winter offers you a sort of advantage because the other hardwoods that you may want to keep intact will be unaffected by any spray treatments that you do. And small plants like this that are at about head height or shorter, you can do a foliar spray on, such as a 3 to 5% mix of glyphosate. You just want to make sure that the chemical, especially glyphosate you use, is a 41% or higher active ingredient. Any lower than that and you may not get the desired results you want. A lot of the over-the-counter or ready-to-use mixes would not be appropriate for this situation. For larger plants, and we'll just pretend this is a larger privet tree that is maybe above head height or is too wide in diameter to easily treat, what you can do is the cut stump treatment method. The cut stump method is essentially what it sounds like. So we would cut this privet off at the stump, And you want to make sure to get all stems that are coming off there. And you can take a spray bottle. This time you would want to use a 50% mix of glyphosate. So in this case here, I mixed up 20 ounces of solution, so I put 10 ounces of chemical in it. And you want to do this fairly quickly after cutting the stem, within a couple minutes. Just treat both stems like that, just enough to wet it. And that'll actually prevent the stem from coming back. And you can do this with any brushy or any hardwood brush that you wish to control. So doing that this time of year during the winter makes it easier to visualize what you're trying to treat, and it's a whole lot easier on you. And for non-woody shrubs, such as kudzu or vines that you wish to get rid of, a lot of folks think that you have to get rid of all the roots on kudzu. Kudzu does have large storage roots, but if you follow all the vines back, you'll find this origination point just beneath the soil surface. This is called a kudzu root crown. It'll usually be a kind of a ball-shaped object just underneath the soil surface. And if you find this and cut it out, it'll prevent that kudzu plant from regrowing the following spring. So another reason to look for this during the winter time, because the kudzu leaves will be off. It'll be easier to follow these vines back and find this root crown. So hopefully these couple tips will aid your brush control techniques this winter and help you out there around your property, your farm, or your forest land.
Hi, my name is Crystal McPherson, and I teach 4-H and other environmental programs for the Calhoun County Extension Office. Coming up on December 16th, we're going to have an electronics recycling drive at the Calhoun County Administration Building from 9 to 2. You can use this as a good opportunity to clean out some of those old electronics that have been sitting around before your family starts gathering for the holidays. It's always fun and exciting getting together with our family for the holidays, but I've noticed that when our family gets together, we always tend to accumulate a lot of trash. And one way that you can fix this problem is by using the 3 R's: reduce, recycle, and reuse. You can recycle materials that are accepted at your local recycling facilities in the recycling bins. You can reduce the amount of trash that you create by simply using items that aren't disposable or one-time use items. You can reuse materials. It can be something simple like using an old box for storage, or it can be something a little bit more complicated like what we're going to do today. We're going to take an old water bottle and turn it into a Christmas ornament. For this activity, you'll need a plastic bottle, scissors and a sharp cutting tool, paint or glitter, a hole punch, sandpaper, and some string or yarn. You'll start by taking your water bottle and removing the bottom. And I've just cut a straight line across the bottom to remove it. When you do that, sometimes the plastic creates sharp edges, so you can just use your sandpaper to sand them down so they're not as sharp. After you've cut it out, you can just simply decorate it with whatever paint or glitter you would like to use. I used glitter paint instead of using the loose glitter because it creates less of a mess. And once it's finished decorating, you can simply use your hole punch to create a hole where you can hang it. This is just one way I've used to make this a snowflake. Here is another one that I made simply by cutting strips of plastic, and then I used a prong to hold them together. So get creative, and you can use whatever craft materials you have available to make your ornament. It doesn't even have to be a snowflake, it could be something else. This is one of the activities that I use a lot with reusing materials in my Clover Buds group, which is a 4-H group that is for ages 5 to 8, and we meet the second Saturday of every month. And so for more information about that or about our electronics recycling drive, you can contact the Calhoun County Extension Office. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Hi, I'm Hayes Jackson. I'm the Urban Regional Extension Agent with the Alabama Cooperative Extension here in Calhoun County. And today I want to mention two things. And one of the main things that I'd like to get across today is fall and winter is for planting in central Alabama. Most people think we have to wait till spring, but any time between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day is the best time to put your landscape plants in the ground. That allows them to root and get established before the hot summer. So now that we know it's a good time for planting, I want to cover another subject, which is the use of foundation plants, and especially low and smaller foundation plants. And you ask, what is a foundation plant? And this is usually a plant that is evergreen, and we use it to kind of buffer or shield the building and kind of create a nice balance between landscape and the architecture. So a lot of times we typically use things like dwarf yaupon or Burford holly as a foundation plant. And even though these dwarf Burford holly and dwarf yaupon say dwarf, it's all relative. So they can get pretty big. And what I want to look at today are a few plants that stay like 3 feet or under that you can use in front of a porch, low windows, or if you just have an area that just needs something to buffer that against a wall. And a lot of times that's going to make a difference in the amount of heat. So you really need to take into effect if you have a microclimate. And I want to cover both plants or both exposures today. One of the plants this is called a royal flush shishi camellia. Now we think of camellias as large trees or shrubs, but there are many good dwarf varieties. Shishi gashira is one with a sasanqua bloom. That means it blooms in the fall. This is a variegated form of that. There's also one called magic carpet, which stays low, and you can have an evergreen plant that gives you flowers in the winter and fall when a lot of things aren't blooming. So it gives you that extra bloom sequence or burst of color when a lot of things aren't blooming. So think about utilizing a flowering camellia. Just make sure you want to get your soil tested, you want to know what your pH is, and that the drainage is good. Now we have other things like gardenias. There's some dwarf gardenias that are suitable that stay low. One of my favorites is Coronation. There's also one called Crown Jewel that stay pretty low. There's one called Radicans. Now Radicans can be a little less cold hardy than some of these others. So in a really cold winter like we had several years ago in the polar vortex, the Radicans could have been damaged if they weren't in a protected site. This is one, and what I want to tell you is to always check your tag. Your tag will often have the zone and the height of the plant, and a lot of times that height of the plant is probably a plant in 10 years. It doesn't mean the ultimate height. So, but this one's called Swan Queen, and it gets about 4 feet, and there's a sister plant to this called Swan Princess that stays 3 feet. So you can always utilize cultivar selection to make a choice in which size plants you need for your landscape. Another one I want to talk about is I'm really impressed with these Distilliums. And the Distilliums are relatives of the witch hazel. They are evergreen. They take sun or shade. Now your gardenias can take some shade, but they're going to bloom best in some sun. This will bloom in the winter and have red flowers, and they are tough as nails. That's the reason I like them. They can take sun or shade. They can take a little bit of heavy clay, and they do really well, and I'm really impressed. This is one called Bronze Age. There's one called Cinnamon Girl, and another one called Jewel Box. And these are really dwarf, compact cultivars. As you can see, they tend to be more spreading. So, but if you've got an area of dense shade, one of the other things I could recommend are using some evergreen ferns like holly fern, or using aspidistras. These are cast iron plants. And if you've got an area that's so shady that most plants won't grow, you can utilize these evergreens to kind of buffer that base of your landscape, and these stay under 3 feet. The holly fern is a nice evergreen fern. You think of it as your ferns are liking moisture, and it can take some dryness, but these will take dry right here. So if you've got dry shade like on a north wall, these would be perfect. So that gives you a few selections of low evergreen foundation plants for Central Alabama. If you have any questions, please give us a call, and I'll be glad to discuss any plant choices you have when you're planting this winter.
Each year during the summer, the Calhoun County Extension Office forms an advisory board which helps us plan programs for the next year. During the month of June, staff members select volunteers who they've worked with during the past year to help us plan these programs that will be delivered here in Calhoun County. The advisory board learns about extension funding, extension organization, and they also receive reports from extension agents who are delivering programs here in Calhoun County. During their final meeting, these advisory board members prioritize programs for us for the coming year. This helps us do a better job for you here in Calhoun County, and it also helps us seek funding to address the priorities that these folks have identified for us. And we'd like to say thank you to them for volunteering their time to help us plan these programs.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Fawn. I'm one of the county extension agents here in Calhoun County. Today we're going to be talking about Poultry Q cook-off contest that we're going to be having this April. It's on April 30th. It'll be here at Cane Creek Community Gardens, and there'll be 3 different divisions that 4-H members can compete for the Poultry Q contest. The junior division will actually be cooking turkey burgers, and that's what I'll be demonstrating today, is cooking turkey burgers. They'll have an hour and a half to not only have their charcoal grills, get those started, cook their turkey burgers and turn those into the 3 judges. Then there'll be an intermediate classification where they'll get actually 4 leg quarters, and they'll have an hour and a half also to get their grills started, cook their leg quarters and submit those to the judges. And then the senior division will be given 4 thighs, and they will be also cook those in an hour and a half time and turn those into judges. There will be ribbons awarded for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place, and it also includes cash prizes with those 3 different divisions and Poultry Q contest. So we'd love to have you guys, especially those who like to cook. One thing I like about 4-H is we do a lot of public speaking and we do a lot of cooking, and those things will just help no matter what person, what they decide to do later on in life, whether they go to college or just career oriented, they'll be able to cook for themselves and provide for their families too. So I like that. So let's get started today and cook a couple of turkey burgers here. I got some turkey burgers, patties here, and I love hamburgers and beef as well, so I'm not discriminating, but I don't eat as much red meat as I used to, so I do like to sometimes do turkey burgers, and then sometimes I also like to do salmon burgers. Salmon burgers are really good, and what I'm utilizing here is just one thing I noticed about, and excuse me for looking down, but one thing I noticed with poultry is sometimes it's a bit bland. So one thing I do is really spice it up, because it really, it kind of takes on the flavor profile what you spiced it with. So I have a certain spice rub that I use for a certain poultry, and I'll go ahead and get this going here. And got those charcoal going really hot, nice temperature. With your turkey burgers, you want to have that end product, and I use a probe too. We'll do that in just a moment, but I use a temperature, you want to have it at 165 degrees. And I've got a thermometer probe with one of these really fancy Wi-Fi things that you can actually clip on your belt, which is really nice. So you can walk around in the area, do things while your food's cooking, and you can set it for 165 and do the probe in there, and when it reaches 165, it'll start beeping, and some of them are really fancy. It'll actually send to your phone, but the one I have here is really handy, and that's really important. With beef, you can get by with some undercooked food. Fish, you can get by with it not being as well done, but poultry, you want to really make sure that you get that internal temperature at least 165, and sometimes I go a little bit after that as well, just to be on the safe side. If you noticed, I used a tabletop grill here for my setup. I use this a lot when I go camping. It's really small, compact. You don't need a lot of charcoal. I like that. But notice I actually put just a piece of wood plywood on the table because you will sometimes drip some ash down, and you don't, if you're on a plastic table like me, you want to make, safety is a big thing too, so you don't want to let those hot coals drip down on a plastic table. So I just made it real quick, and normally I'll set it on the ground like we have cement or ground or whatever, but in this case, for this purposes, I just use simple plywood, and that was an easy solution. So with that being said, I've got the spice rub on there, and I'm going to put the lid right here, and I've got all the vents open up. I would encourage the 4-H members, if they are cooking, if they've never cooked before, or even if they have cooked before, I would suggest parental guidance at all times because those coals are very hot. The gloves are always important to use those, and then the food prep, it's always important to use latex gloves or some type of vinyl glove to keep from contamination from your foods that you're cooking. So this will cook typically for the coals that the temperature is. Normally the other ones I cooked earlier were about 15 minutes. I cooked about 7 minutes on each side. It depends on the thickness. So in this category for the turkey burgers only, you'll be given 2 pounds of ground turkey. So you'll actually form the patties yourself when you actually come here on April 30th. And you'll form those 2 patties, and then you'll do whatever spice profile that you like. I did a spice profile, and then I actually did a barbecue sauce for me. So when this cooks a little bit more, I did some barbecue sauce. And actually this barbecue sauce was given to me by one of my former 4-H club members, and he's actually, his name's Kingston Peeler, and he's actually doing his own barbecue sauce now, and he sells those, and he uses that to provide for his athletic fees and stuff. So just an interest that he started with Poultry Q he's actually leveraged that into making some money to help him do some of the school functions that he wants to do. So I just thought that was awesome. And that's Kingston Peeler, and he's I think from Jacksonville High School. So while these cook a little bit, I'll let those cook. In just a moment, I'm gonna come back over here and flip these. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and flip those now. Get that on the other side. Poultry does cook pretty fast, so you don't want to overcook it. So we'll do that and let those cook a little bit longer. It's smelling good, and just some of my accessories that I like to put on things. I like for myself, I like a sweet onion. I use a sweet onion. And then we have just some lettuce, and you can use spinach or whatever, even mustard greens. We have some mustard greens growing, you can use that. And then as I mentioned, I do a basting of the barbecue sauce for mine just so it doesn't dry out. And then you can do with the standard mustard and ketchup, or some people think that's not right. You shouldn't put anything on a hamburger, so it's really your preference. And then once you get that, they turn out actually pretty nice. And here, I'm gonna come around here. Here is a finished product right here. Right there, turkey burger, lettuce, tomato, mustard ketchup, really good. So I would like to encourage you guys to get out and try cooking yourself. If you haven't done that, do so with your parents. It's a great activity, especially during the holidays. And speaking of the holidays, happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Kayla Sheely, SNAP Ed educator in Calhoun County.
And I'm Tammy Hall, also a SNAP Ed educator in Calhoun County.
Today we'd like to tell you about a nutrition program we teach called BodyQuest. BodyQuest is a research-based curriculum available to most third grade students here in Calhoun County.
Alabama is among the states with the highest adult obesity rates and the lowest fruit and vegetable consumption. National rankings show that states with the highest obesity rates are those with the lowest rates of fruit and vegetable intakes. Fruits and vegetables are low-calorie, nutrient-dense foods that support a healthy weight. Moreover, adequate fruit and vegetable intakes are preventive factors for other health concerns, including heart disease, hypertension, and cancers.
Obesity prevention is a top priority for Alabama's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Education, or SNAP Ed. For more than a decade, Alabama's SNAP Ed educators have successfully implemented a school-based childhood obesity prevention initiative known as BodyQuest Food of the Warrior. The primary goal of BodyQuest is to increase fruit and vegetable intakes in third graders. Each year, BodyQuest successfully reaches this goal and improves other mediating factors for childhood obesity.
As a result of BodyQuest, third graders consistently make positive behavior changes in 3 identified obesity prevention mediators. 1, increase fruit and vegetable consumption. 2, decrease sugary beverage consumption. And 3, increase physical activity.
The effectiveness of BodyQuest is not limited to the classroom. BodyQuest includes a model for parent education called Recipe Tester Club for BodyQuest parents. Parents sign up to become recipe testers and prepare vegetable recipes with their third graders at home. Parent education focuses on increasing fruit and vegetable intakes of BodyQuest students and parents in the home environment. BodyQuest parents also learn to prepare foods with less sugar, sodium, and saturated fat, drink more water and fewer sugary drinks, and be more physically active.
As a recipe tester, parents receive 7 recipes prepared for family members, action-oriented text messages, and educational teaching tools that extend nutrition messages into the home. Findings from Recipe Tester Club for BodyQuest parents indicate parents participate: 1, eat more fruits and vegetables; 2, follow the dietary guidelines for Americans when shopping and preparing family meals; and 3, drink water instead of sugary beverages; and 4, engage in physical activity with their child.
Some of the educational teaching tools we provide during the course of BodyQuest include cutting mats, measuring cups, a collapsible strainer, a reusable shopping bag, and a fruit and veggie scrub brush. Students also will receive a BodyQuest t-shirt when their parent signs them up for the program.
So if you or your school is interested in BodyQuest, feel free to call us at the Calhoun County Extension Office, 256-237-1621.
Happy holidays.
We receive a lot of inquiries on how we can propagate plants that we use in the landscape or that we use for fruit production in our yards. And so one good example of something that's very easy for you to propagate is a fig tree or fig bush here. And so this has been a popular fig plant here at Cane Creek Community Garden because it has some really nice big figs. And so we've had a number of people who have wanted us to propagate some of those for them. So if you have a fig bush at home, it's very easy for you to propagate that fig bush. Or if you have a friend that has one and you want one of those, again, it's easy for you to get you a fig bush at home by following this procedure. And so what we like to do to start with is to find us a healthy limb here that we can use to make our eventual cutting. But we're going to make a rooted cutting here. And what we'll do first is we want to see about where that's going to hit the ground at, which is about right in there. We're going to take our knife. I'll see if I can flip this around so that you can see it. And we're just going to wound this plant a little bit right here. We'll fold our pocket knife back up, and then we're going to take that, find us a spot of clean soil right here where there's nothing growing. We're going to press that down against the soil and take a brick and lay down on it. We may have to use 2 bricks. Do I have 2 bricks? Yep. There. And if we'll leave that there for about a year, we can come back, and if you'll look over here at this side, you can see that we have a couple that rooted last year. And so I'll be able to come back in here with my snips or a shovel and some larger pruners, and I'll have a plant that I can cut up right there and move somewhere else. And so it's a very easy process. It's something that you probably have. You don't have to have a brick. You can use a rock, a cement block, a block of wood. If you've got anything that's heavy, that'll push that stem down against the ground, and it'll probably do a pretty good job of rooting for you. This isn't the only thing that you can do this way. Muscadine vines are something else that you can do this way. Azalea plants will sometimes root this way. and so it's a very easy process for you to expand the plants in your landscape. So give it a try and see if you have some luck.
Good afternoon. I'm Annette Felton. I'm the Urban SNAP Ed educator for Calhoun and Etowah counties. I have 4 curriculums. All of my curriculums are Catch, Wealth, Teen Battle Chef, and Look Who's Cooking. In each of my curriculums, I discuss nutrition and hydration and the importance of physical activity. The holidays are upon us, and we are about to pack in those calories. Well, I have a solution to help you with some of those calories. Why not trade out your sugary beverages for water? Yes, water. Drink water instead of your sugary beverages. Skip the tea, the sweet tea, the sodas, and the rest of your sugary beverages and choose water. I'm going to teach you how to infuse your water with fruit. First, you have your ingredients. We have the orange slices, we have fresh cranberries, and we have ice. Now, first we are going to simply put our stuff into a clear pitcher. I'm going to fill it with water. Yes, good old plain water. I see you cringing. Some of you will not drink water. Water is an essential ingredient, and it helps us to stay regulated and hydrated. Now, next we are going to put in our slices gently so we won't plop. I'm putting all of it in, and I might have to pour a little bit more water in there, but I'm going to put all of them in and give you the idea of how it looks. It's very pretty so far, isn't it? Now, I'm going to put my cranberries on top. And isn't that gorgeous? Now, normally you will let this sit for an hour before you start to drink it. But I'm going to put my ice in my cup and let's give it a taste. And so you're going to get a little fruit and enjoy. Skip the sugary beverages and try water infused with fruit. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Gann. I'm the 4-H Regional Extension Agent for Calhoun County. First of all, I would like to thank all my volunteers that have helped us this year and last year during COVID. We've had a wonderful year, and I do appreciate my volunteers for stepping up and helping during these times. So if you are new to Calhoun County or a current 4-H volunteer member or a volunteer 4-H kid that wants to come out and be a part of 4-H, now is the time. We have the 4-H Homeschool Club that meets the first Thursday of every month at 1:30. We have the 4-H Homeschool Clover Buds that meet at 10 a.m. We have the first Thursday of the month. We have the 4-H Youth Council that meets the third Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. And we have 4-H Archery Club that meets the second Friday of every month at 5 o'clock. So those are outside clubs that your kids or you can volunteer at to help make 4-H possible here in Calhoun County. You can join a club at any time. We ask that you would go into v2.4h online to sign up, or simply just come to a meeting and we can help you sign up there. Today I want to take a few minutes and I want to show you one of our 4-H rifle clubs, the 4-H Hawkeyes, here at the CMP in Anniston, Alabama. Today you will see our kids shooting on the range. It's a wonderful facility. The CMP has been a wonderful partnership for us, and we have great volunteer coaches that are certified to teach your kids how to properly and safely shoot. So we're going to go inside the range and we're going to see some kids shooting. The CMP has open nights, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 7. The Hawkeye Rifle Club actually meets the second Tuesday of the month at 5 o'clock for a business meeting. The Hawkeye kids come Tuesdays for additional lessons. Please make sure you check the CMP to make sure they are open as well. And see Matt Carroll on Tuesdays because he is the direct volunteer 4-H safe coach that is in charge of this club. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our 2021 holiday TV show. We hope that you've learned something that you can use during the holiday season. If you have any questions, you can check out our Facebook page under Calhoun County Extension Office under Alabama Cooperative Extension System. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2022.